Obviously, NVIDIA is up in the pre-market. Flawless today repeats an overweight on the stock. The chip monster is hoping to end this rut that has sent shares, as you probably are aware, into revision region. Jim, you said there's been no change to expansive interest at the high or the low end, and I'm certain beyond a shadow of a doubt about that. What's more, simply the way that Microsoft got their chips right away, the sways, whoever the sways are, said, gracious, then there should be an interest issue, assuming that they got every one of their chips. That is totally false. I could do without, as you most likely are aware, Carl, and up-oping. Individuals who got it yesterday at 127 will be heat-chasing rockets, impacting that 133. You won a crescendo auction, and we didn't have it yet. You said late morning yesterday you figured we may be arriving, 127, 128. However, at that point it went to 130. Then, at that point, it supported right back to 128. David, there are vendors of NVIDIA on the grounds that they've recently chosen. Guess what? It couldn't in any way, shape, or form be comparable to last year, and I say it will be just as great. And at the January 6th feature at CES, you will hear things from Jen Wang that will make you limit why you sold it at 127. You say, all that will be is great. Do you mean the presentation of the organization, or do you really accept that the stock will likewise have that sort of exhibition it did for the current year, regardless of the most recent half year of being level? We're actually discussing a stock that is, you can see, indeed, all things considered, the stock follows the presentation, and the exhibition is the enormous issue. Individuals don't recollect what it resembled when you went from the 386 to 486 to the Pentium. There are these holes. There are these holes where quickly you're not transportation. This Blackwell ended up being a lot harder to deliver. That is their ongoing chip. This was container, the chips that Microsoft purchased, yet it's not the ongoing cycle, but rather they're extremely strong, and I believe that everybody, remember Meta, which is recently updated, overhauled, redesigned, or cost target help said that Meta computer-based intelligence would be the most impressive. The present moment, it isn't Meta artificial intelligence. I think it stops in like June 28th of 2023. However, glasses. The glasses that interpret goodness indeed. What about that? I have the other. I'm giving everyone different glasses. That is my present to individuals. They don't watch. No one watches my family, so it doesn't make any difference. Yet, better believe it, I got the ones that, like on the off chance that you have an additional pair, let me know. The ones Joanna Harsh, the commentator at the Money Road Diary, was exceptionally certain about. At the end of the day, if possible, the real beam boycotts are so cool. You can take pictures, you can converse with it, you can live it up. You've been reproachful of the data, yet they truly do have a piece up saying that NVIDIA's cloud administration could equal AWS, possibly one. Indeed, I think they only sort of experienced the intensity of having never said a solitary beneficial thing regarding NVIDIA during perhaps of the best spat history, other than the way that it's terrible either. When it's all said and done, they have been. It's like they have a hex on NVIDIA. Oh, what on NVIDIA? Don't worry about it. No, not by the same token. David looks. That would resemble me purchasing passes to the Super Bowl at this moment. No, gracious with curse. Curse. Better believe it. They simply express these things that are, well, it's inconceivable. Assuming you followed them, you truly would accept that that organization is going the method of EV charging stations, resource rivalry, custom silicone, scaling walls, Top Capex works in, Recollect Broadcom and Wonder Tech work in. Work with the GPU. They can't replace the GPU. Amazon would cherish it in the event that Trump might actually stay aware of the GPU, yet they, with the NVIDIA GPU, however, they need to purchase countless NVIDIA GPUs. They actually do. They actually do. Discussed this yesterday. We'll say it today. No one-ing it. However, once more, however, you accept that the monetary exhibition of NVIDIA will be equivalent this approaching year to what we saw now through the change. Presently, there's music being played in my ear, which says we need to go, yet we should continue on toward NVIDIA. A report from the data itemizing how NVIDIA could fabricate a cloud business that would equal any semblance of Amazon Web Administration's. Jim Producer says it could create $150 billion in income from programming and cloud administrations over the long haul. President Jensen Huang has said that cloud and simulated intelligence programming will be an extremely huge business after some time. Assuming they ventured into the cloud business, that could be a tremendous headwind for Amazon, which has been the cloud monster in the space for such countless years. I accept Amazon Web Administrations makes up almost 20% of Amazon's general income, and a huge piece of that is in the cloud. They've had this kind of co-picked relationship with NVIDIA, so assuming they really do begin to have their lunch, I can hardly stand by to see the pot emerge. Yet, Amazon needs to fabricate its own computer-based intelligence chips, correct? What's more, in the long run, perhaps not buy as numerous NVIDIA chips, so seeing that sort of back and forth is fascinating. Furthermore, the other thing here, MDY, that simply intrigues me about this story is somewhat the exemplary financial backer story of how an organization develops as they give you an item, correct? So NVIDIA has assembled these extremely effective artificial intelligence chips. Everybody needs them. How does NVIDIA follow the client through that excursion, correct? You contemplate Apple and the iPhone, correct? Apple gave us this large number of extraordinary items. What did they in the end work out? That is currently one of the biggest pieces of their business. The administration's business, isn't that so? They keep on selling you things once you utilize the item and kind of go through that client venture with you. NVIDIA's man-made intelligence chips are significantly more muddled and much more B2B and somewhat unique in relation to that. However, to me, I believe it's a fair correlation with Ponder. Oak, everybody purchased our chips. How would we turn into a piece of the following variant of man-made intelligence? We were talking prior last hour about how there's kind of this shift from the foundation to how would we manage this. Cloud administrations is an immense, enormous piece of that following stage. On the off chance that NVIDIA can quite create $150 billion in income off of this, then, at that point, you begin to discuss, all right, perhaps computer-based intelligence chip request isn't the whole piece of the financial backer story. Since I think for the enormous piece of the most recent year and a half, it's been what might be said about when everybody has an adequate number of chips. Right. And that is all the conversation's been. Perhaps the conversation begins to move a tad in the event that we keep on hearing more about this on coming profit calls. And $150 billion. I accept AWS gets about $100 billion from its cloud business, so that would them say, likewise, we believe we will beat the greatest person in the room here as well, which is fascinating pushing ahead. I simply think it'll be captivating to see. NVIDIA, to your point, has sort of reformed itself on numerous occasions as of now. They began as a computer game chipmaker. Presently, they're this simulated intelligence monster. Will they likewise become an immense cloud player? They have a ton of rivalry, so we'll check whether they can haul it out. They have a great deal of rivalry in many spaces, correct? So in the event that you have that chip rivalry that we've been discussing over the most recent few weeks, perhaps your answer is to cross a smidgen and have different well springs of income that can likewise get. So surely not a tomorrow story. I wouldn't agree. It's something essential to follow, particularly in the event that you're thinking about holding NVIDIA long term. The development past that chip story into different well springs of income could be fairly alluring. What's more, we'll wrap up with NVIDIA. Those offers are up around 3% pre-market, simply bouncing back from those new misfortunes. That stock is as yet playing with that alleged revision domain, off around 10% from its most noteworthy shutting cost over this year. This comes as financial backers sit tight for proof of how it can create rapidly its Blackwell artificial intelligence cutting-edge chips. Those offers are still up around 170% up to this point this year. One of the better entertainers in the S&P, talking NVIDIA, the stock's failing to meet expectations the brilliant 7. That is to say, it's still up more than 160% this year. It's had a decent run. I think individuals are blowing a gasket somewhat a lot on this. Yet would you say you are folks seeing any debilitating information that is somewhat intelligent of what we've seen since hitting those unequaled highs last month? Since it appears, as in the event that you pay attention to the tech organizations, they're not pulling back on any acquisition of NVIDIA items as of now. Definitely, I believe that you're precisely on, and you make a valid statement. I came in today, I'm taking a gander at my notes, and I'm prepared to discuss this pullback in video with a proviso that it's still up more.